There is anchored container queries, style elements based on their anchor position. Okay, last year CSS wrapped covered CSS anchor position, and exciting update that changes the way you can position element related to each other. And since that coverage became a part of Interop 2025 and browser support expanded. However, while CSS could move an element to a fallback position, it had no way of knowing which fallback was chosen. This means that if your tooltip flipped from the bottom to the top of the screen, the arrow would still be pointing the wrong way. This is now resolved with Anchor Container Queries. Anchor queries can be created with two steps. First, apply container type anchored to the position element like the tooltip. So container type anchored, this enables element to be aware of its anchor position fallback. Okay, next use the anchored fallback function within a container block to style any child of your positioned element based on the active fallback value. When you specify a fallback value, it can either be a custom fallback that you name and specify, or it can be one of the browser defaults like flip block or flip inline. Here's a quick demo of how you can use anchored container queries to automatically flip a tooltip arrow when its position changes. So the element or tooltip is anchor. There is anchor name, let's say my anchor. Tooltip is there, which is a position fixed position anchor with respect to my anchor. Position area bottom, position try fallback is flip block. Okay, and container type is anchor. Make it an anchored query container. Okay, add a default up arrow. Up arrow is content this, position this, and button this. Use the anchored query to check the fallback. So we have a container, and then we have container type anchored, and here anchored fallback flip block tooltip. Before that top fallback was this, so flip the arrow. So before would be flipped content down, button, auto, and top more. So if we see example of this, so we have this anchor, and when it moves there, interesting, we can move based on the this is the tooltip. Tooltip changes, it would have before and after, and it would change its position because it's anchored. So anchored container queries is one of the things.